Hey everyone, welcome back to the Game Room. One of the core reasons I went for the full PlayStation library was for a chance to have access to every adventure made available to the Western public at any time. Trying out sports games I'd normally never play, figuring out strategy games I'd typically be terrible at, and exploring games I have not given a second chance on a retail shelf. The last point could not be truer when it comes to the latest game I added to the finish pile, Jaleco's Juggernaut. A point-and-click adventure that focuses on a young romantic couple. While visiting an antique shop, they purchase a bottle from the owner and bring it home to decorate the house. The vessel ends up being cursed, and a demon begins to take over the girlfriend. Oh, gaming tropes. In pure video game fashion, it's time to save the damsel in distress. This rescuing isn't your garden variety sense of heroism, though. With the help of an exorcist, the player will shed their mortal flesh and travel through the girlfriend's very soul to save her. Her soul takes on the curious manifestation of a 5-floored mansion, 3 floors above and 2 below ground. From within the mansion is a set of rooms that open into 8 microcosms. These microcosms are smaller, more concise realities that all connect back to the mansion. Players will assume 8 different identities to unravel the mysteries that lie within them before returning to the last door of the mansion to face the very demon possessing the girlfriend. Jumping straight to the review, let's start with the user interface and how you'll move about the inner world. As mentioned earlier, it is a point-and-click adventure game just like D or Myst. Each step you take in-game is represented as an on-screen image, but when you turn, a short video clip plays to move you to the next available spot. While most rooms will simply have 4 cardinal directions to move between, larger areas will allow for a bit more wiggle room, but still only using the 4 directions on the D-pad. You have a cursor interact with the mansion, along with a basic map and inventory menu. The cursor will act as your pointer, an inspection grab tool, and for the first half of the game, your height meter. This last one is where the game's biggest design flaw is, so let's get that out of the way first. Within the mansion, to truly explore, you will need to rid yourself of your own physical manifestation. This allows your soul to roam freely with it with a catch. With no physical body, you can't open doors, so you'll need to locate in-soul body generators. There are adult and juvenile sizes, but the latter is a bit of a misnomer. It's more like adult and super tiny mouse mode. Think of them like fleshy taxis. You can travel through doors with them, but only the properly sized doors. In soul form, you'll need to find holes to creep through. Players can pick up and drop off these bodies at their proper stations, but they can't have 2 bodies in the same station, which means there's going to be a lot of backtracking to take care of as gamers bounce between bodies. It's a play mechanic that grows very old, very fast near the mansion's final moments before reaching the microcosms. That aside, the sizing gimmick hides a wonderful tribute to show just how much work went into the game's visuals. Due to the height of each state the user can be in, certain floors and their rooms had to be re-rendered for each height where needed. In some instances, the same door can be seen from 3 different heights, with proper commentary added if it's interacted with in the wrong form. It's these little details that help lift the now seriously dated textures and renders into the modern era of graphical appreciation. The 8 microcosms split 4 sets of visual assets equally, so they're paired up 2 worlds per room. With the mansion taking on a Resident Evil vibe, the microcosms hop across the genre spectrums. One pair is set in the future, a second literally inside a cyber world, a third shares an island, and the final areas will take you into a research facility with 2 very disturbing premises. A personal favorite is the cyberworld, as it requires the player to visit multiple information hubs in order to discern an ongoing terrorist attack plot. It really feels like you're messing around in a virtual interface, at least what they thought it might look like 20 years ago. It's also here that the game makes its saving throw. Where the mansion sequence of events tests your patience with the absurd amount of body snatching needed to finally be completed, here in the microcosms things are much more relaxed. The smaller worlds are more interactive stories, allowing you to enjoy the sad tales then rage quit at another body transfer. Puzzles are solved using contextual clues and some real-world knowledge. Fair warning, unless you have pitch-perfect hearing, you will need to understand how music is written to solve one of the puzzles and be able to understand several audio clues to open a different door. A decent number of clues will require either handwritten notes or photos of the results to be used later. 2 sequences in the microcosms require figuring out passwords from other words and number sets. While easy when you have them written down, those gamers thinking they'll be able to just do the mental math will find themselves desperately reaching for a pencil. Across the 3 discs, the puzzle variety is fantastic, but some of the solutions only provide more clues, with 2 red herrings and several puzzles that cannot be solved in the main game, something you won't realize until the ending of the game. From an audio standpoint, Juggernaut is fairly minimalistic in its offerings. Most of the soundtrack is subtle, if not subdued. Most of the noise coming out of the PlayStation will come from the item sound effects and any time an evil character needs to laugh or roar. Having finished and enjoyed it, the question is, will you? I did use a strategy guide for several of the body swapping sequences, and with backtracking included, the game is about 12 hours long. While the constant backtracking to change sizes drove me crazy, I really did enjoy the microcosm stories. The game's base ending leads to an interesting Game Plus mode where you play from a different person's perspective for a few minutes to fill in the rest of the story and reveal the true ending. Funny enough, both endings, along with the final battle, present questions about what really happened. With the game's extremely rigid and simple translation, some of the subtext that the writers were intending to come through are garbled in the American language. Now, to compare notes, I've replayed D at least 3 or 4 times in the last 20 years. I don't know if I'd ever play Juggernaut again. It was worth the solitary effort, though, especially if you've never played anything like it before. On Game-Rave's review scale, it's a good game with a 6 out of 10 score. If you're looking to snag a copy at the time of this video's air date, it currently averages about $40 shipped for a used copy on eBay, with no variants to worry about. At least that I know of. Alright guys, that is another game finished. Only the 1,200 more so to go. I actually started playing the original Need for Speed for what would eventually be the next review, and it's got a quirky little feature that actually helps a lot of players that suck at simulation racing games like yours truly come through, and I really can't wait to talk about that in the next review slot. Other than that, there'll probably be either another variant hunter or a subset collection coming up on the next video for the PlayStation side. As always, thank you for watching the video. I will see you next episode. Take care.